Hello, my name is Christian Rodriguez, and this is the Political Compass, where we will recap important headlines coming out of Washington, D.C., Tallahassee, and the global stage in order to spread civic literacy amongst Belen students. Let's begin the news with the two Republican contests that have been held for the Republican nomination for President of the United States. First, 2 weeks ago, the Iowa Republican Party held their caucuses for President of the United States. In that race, former President Donald Trump won a landslide victory against his three other major opponents. He won the race by 30 percentage points, receiving 51% of the vote. The more competitive race was that for second place, in which Florida Governor Ron DeSantis invested lots of time and millions of dollars in campaigning in the Hawkeye state, even receiving the endorsement of the state's Governor Kim Reynolds. Against the rising momentum and polls of former UN Ambassador and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, Governor DeSantis slightly beat Ambassador Haley for second place, earning 21% of the vote to Haley's 19 percentage points. Entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out of the race and endorsed Trump after placing fourth place, with almost 8% of the vote. Several days later, Governor DeSantis posted a video on X, formerly known as Twitter, announcing he was dropping out of the race and endorsing the frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, saying, quote, "Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear." Governor DeSantis' decision left the contest as a two-person race just before the competitive primary in New Hampshire. In advance of the contest, Ambassador Haley was seen as having a decent chance of pulling an upset due to momentum, favorable polls, and the endorsement of the state's Republican governor, Chris Sununu. The result did not happen, and instead she lost the Granite State by a margin of 11 percentage points to the former president, but did outperform poll averages, which saw her losing by around 20 percentage points. In her speech on election night, Ambassador Haley vowed to stay in the race, saying, quote, "Well, I have news for all of them. New Hampshire's first in the nation. It's not last in the nation. This race is far from over. There are dozens of states left to go, and the next one is my sweet state of South Carolina," and said, quote, "The first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to win this election. I say it should be the Republicans." Now, the next race to watch is in Ambassador Haley's home state of South Carolina, which will be held on February 24th. The New Hampshire Democratic Party also held a primary election for president, in which President Biden did not appear on the ballot due to his previous decision to move South Carolina ahead of the state in the nominating calendar. Despite the fact that his name was not on the ballot, President Biden won the contest through a write-in campaign in which more than 60% of New Hampshire's Democratic voters wrote in his name. He beat lesser-known candidates like Congressman Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson. These contests in both the Democrat and Republican parties have likely cemented a rematch between two unpopular presidents, making this race between two politicians with dismal favorability ratings. President Biden is attempting to boost his standing with African American voters with a strong performance in the Democratic primary in South Carolina, recently campaigning with Congressman Jim Clyburn, an influential black Democratic leader in the U.S. House of Representatives. Also, earlier this week, the president's super PAC, Future Forward, announced an investment in an ad campaign of $250 million to lay out the campaign's groundwork in several battleground states. This ad blitz will target the battleground states such as Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina. The president is also weighing military options about how to respond to an Iran-backed militant group's attack on a U.S. military base in Jordan. This attack killed 3 American soldiers and injured dozens of others. The president is reportedly weighing striking Iran directly after calls from several Republican senators, including Senator John Cornyn of Texas, who tweeted, quote, "Target Tehran," and Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, who said, "Hit Iran now, hit them hard." This will be difficult for President Biden, whose administration has been working steadfastly to avoid a bigger regional conflict in the Middle East. And with that, that's it for this week's Political Compass segment. Until next week, when we run down headlines coming out of Washington, D.C., Tallahassee, and the world stage for you.